very popular entertainer. I can't believe you never heard of it. I'm a very popular entertainer.
I got the style and profile like never before.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? Thursday, another week almost down. I'm so excited to be here. Glad to see that you are here as well. Got a couple new sound effects as y'all probably have already heard. I'm enjoying them. I'm liking them a lot. They're a little different. And I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think I have a lot of my sound issues kind of worked out now. So now when I get ready to play another video or another excerpt or something, it comes through clean the way it's supposed to. So we, like I said, we're building it as we are flying it. Glad to be here. Good to see you today. And so over the last, man, 3 weeks now. Yeah, last 3 weeks. The show's been going strong for 3 weeks, and I'm excited about it. I hope you guys are. Hope you guys are getting something from it and enjoying. I just want to throw that out there. 3 weeks strong. Consistency is a very tough thing in the modern age because there's so many things happening. There are so many distractions and just a personal little check mark for myself there that I've been able to maintain this and I feel good. I'm going strong. I feel like the information matters because there's a lot of secrets, and they're not really secrets, but it's just things that people don't know that other people do. Some things are taught in other homes than versus other homes, than some homes, I should say. And so today is going to be, and tomorrow is going to be the culmination of this 3 week journey. I heard a guy say a long time ago that the educational system was a good concept, but it was also just a little bit flawed. And being that education is not something that you memorize a bunch of stuff and you take the test and you move on to the next thing. Education is supposed to end up in a changed behavior, not just information. And being in the information age, we are on information overload. We are living in information overload because there are so many, so many avenues and sources of material and information. If you watch your news channels, there's, hundreds of news channels all giving you the same information. And most of it is not positive, it's not good, nothing that's really feeding your spirit. And so there's no wonder we live in a world where there's constant fear, there's constant terror. But anyway, I'm jumping the gun. I am jumping the gun. For those of you who don't know me by now, my name is Jamon, and I am a personal development coach, family coach. Let me get it right. I'm doing three things at one time. So, um, and I have been doing this personal development journey on my own for about 20 years now. And I needed it because I came from environments where the only mode was survival. And when you in a survival only mode, it's dog eat dog. You acting off pure instinct. You're not thinking things through. And if you get into a bad slide, you tend to go down that hill much harder and much faster. So personal development has helped me to change my life and turn it around. And now I'm in the fourth phase, which I was telling you guys. I'm in the fourth phase of that turnaround. And that fourth phase is actually teaching. Is actually giving the knowledge, giving the experience, bringing the next group of people along on the journey. Because let's face it, some of the people that we talk about in this personal development world, they don't look like me. They died before I was born. So it's hard to relate to somebody that was living their best life in 1900s. 1902, 1910. The language was different, words meant different things. So this is my journey and my chance to go and impact my community. So today, I decided not to do a question of the day today. But what I want to do is introduce to you the 13 laws of success, or the 13 steps to riches. This book was written by a guy named Napoleon Hill back in 1937, which is why I said what I said to start the show. 1937, the language was different. Culturally, it meant different things. And so today I'm going to give you an introduction into it, and tomorrow I will be out. We have an event over the weekend, and I have an early production job in the morning. So I'm going to, after we end today's broadcast, I will be continuing along with the recording, and I will have it playing for you tomorrow. Actually, I might do a little something special for you tomorrow, just to have a replay. So if you missed some previous episodes, I may do maybe a 4 or 5 hour stream just to get the live feel in as well. And so the 13 steps to riches, or the 13 principles of success. He wrote this book back in 1937. And I'm going to show you a little bit of his story through a guy by the name of Bob Proctor. I really love Bob Proctor. He's passed on, I think, just last year, but he has been studying the success game and the personal success game probably 50 plus years, 60 years, something like that. But I found Bob Proctor doing the movie The Secret. And E.T., Eric Thomas, he talks about Bob Proctor a lot in some of his talks. And so I was motivated to go find out who is this guy. And when I tell you, this guy was a genius in the fact that he understood the law so well that he was able to apply them, whether consciously or unconsciously. He understood them at a level that I aspire to be. And so without further ado, we're going to try this video thing one more time. Hopefully, we got it all figured out now. So let me know when it first come on, though. Give me a thumbs up. Matter of fact, let's check in. How's everybody doing today? Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I didn't check my comments. Awesome, Gary. Good to see you today. My brother, Health Talk. Good morning, sir. That chick, yo. Always here. I love it. I love it. Those of you who might be driving, who doing the work thing, don't feel like you need to respond right now. Safety is the main thing. Safety is the main thing, because I know it's first thing in the morning. So I'm going to go ahead and play a little excerpt. Like I said, let me know real quick if the audio sounds like it's supposed to sound.
That's a picture of Andrew Carnegie. He is the man that coached or mentored Napoleon Hill. That's Napoleon Hill when he was a young reporter working for a magazine. The magazine decided that they were going to write articles on wealth. Hill got the opportunity to spend 3 hours interviewing Andrew Carnegie. I've often thought of this. I wonder how nervous he would be, how intimidated he would be. He was broke. And here he is sitting down with the wealthiest man in the world at the time. Andrew Carnegie was considered the first billionaire. And he spent 3 days with him. Now, unbeknownst to Napoleon Hill, Andrew Carnegie was looking for people. He was looking for a person. Carnegie said he thought it was an absolute crime that people like himself, like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Harvey Firestone, and all these people who had amassed great fortunes, he thought it was an absolute crime they were going to their grave with all this knowledge locked up in their bones. He was looking for someone that would organize this information so that people like you and I could learn it. About halfway through, or towards the end of the interview, he thought maybe Hill was the guy he was looking for, because he hadn't found anybody yet. So at the end of the interview, he said, Napoleon, this interview isn't ending, it's just beginning. I want you to come home with me. And he took him home, they spent 3 days together.
Pause.
Yet at the end of the 3 days, he said, Napoleon, I'm going to ask you a question, and I just want a yes or no answer. He said, are you prepared to dedicate the rest of your life to an idea for which you will probably receive no material compensation for at least 20 years? What he didn't tell Hill, he had a stopwatch in his hand, and he only gave him 60 seconds to answer the question. In 25 seconds, Hill said, yes, I will. Now, he said, I want you to go out and gather information. I will give you letters of introduction. All very, very successful. He became intimate friends with Edison and Ford, like I'm just explaining, and I want you to put it together in an organized manner so that anyone can do what I've done. Now I'm going to tell you something. So far as I've been able to determine, Carnegie made maybe 50 millionaires. Napoleon Hill's made millions of millionaires.
So, what do you think? That is who Napoleon Hill was. That's what he did. That's what he did. He was a journalist who had the opportunity to interview the richest man in the world. He had the opportunity to get in the space and rub elbows with someone who was considered to be the richest man in the world. And I see somebody got that small. Y'all caught my pause, huh? Oh, yes, sir. Appreciate that. See, y'all got that good ear too. Y'all be listening. But yes, Napoleon Hill was a journalist. He wasn't like dead broke, but he wasn't far from broke. Journalists don't make a whole lot of money traditionally. They got to sell ads, and back then, an ad could run you 10 cents. Now it might cost you a couple, 10, 20,000 to run one ad. But back then, it was a much calmer time, not calmer, but poor financially and economically for everybody in the country. Yes, sir. Rest in peace, Bob Proctor. Rest in peace, Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor he was a G, man. He was a poor guy who came from nothing, and he changed his world. And he's dedicated most of his life to helping other people do the same thing. So Napoleon Hill, I'm going to get back to him real quick. He interviewed him, and the interview went so well that Carnegie was like, hey, I want you to come home with me. Hey, well, if you are interviewing a man and they tell you, hey, I want you to come home with me for 3 days, bro. You going? You going? I'm going to say pause, bro. Nah, bro. You need to give me some more explanations. You need to clarify your intent, my guy. But like I said, back then, it was a simpler time. Words didn't really quite mean the same thing. Intents were not what they are. So, yeah, every time I hear them, I'm just like, pause, man. Come on, bro. I can't be going to the crib with you like that. But anyway, Carnegie made him the offer. He gave him a minute to decide. Will you dedicate the rest of your life to doing this that you probably won't make any money off of for the next 20 years? How many of y'all, by show of hands, how many of y'all would have took that offer? You might not make any money off doing this for at least 20 years, but I will introduce you to the richest people in the world. I will introduce you to all of my friends. But you got to tell me you're willing to dedicate your life to this mission. He said yes. He said yes, and he did it. And today, he's made hundreds of millionaires. He's transformed hundreds of thousands of people's lives because he did something that was uncommon, but yet very remarkable. And I truly believe we all are here for a purpose. We all are here for a reason. We might not have been conceived with the intention of conception. However, once we got here, we all came with a purpose, with a design, with a unique skill set, with unique abilities. Y'all already saw, the first couple shows we did, we talked about that path to procreation. So the fact that you're here tells me that you are special, tells you that you are special. And there's something that is for you to do. And we're going to help you find that. So we talked about fear. Well, before we get into that fear, because we're about to dive right in. So let's go and get these gratitudes in. And while I'm thinking about it, ladies and gentlemen, because of where we're getting ready to go with the show, we are now going into, we went from the mindset, understanding why we do things that we do. And now we're shifting into how do we set goals? How do we dream? How do we visualize? And so now we're going to shift into the actual work. And so this is where somebody is going to, because honestly, 10%, right? I said we're talking about 10% rule. 10% of people actually achieve why they start doing the thing. 90% of the people, for whatever reasons, it's not their season, not their time. They hadn't quite figured it out just yet. But 10% of people are always ready to go. And so for the 10% that are ready to go, I created where is my journal? Where is my journal? Oh, here you go. Apologies for that. I created a gratitude journal. I know you can't really see it well, but I created a gratitude journal because we're not going to do as much of the gratitudes, me doing them anymore. We're going to have you guys just kind of saying your own, because I've kind of been following the leader. I've kind of led the discussion, but now it's time for you to do it. And so if you guys are interested in getting your journal, you can go to my website, JamonGloverSpeaks.com/journal. Let me see if I can show that. Yeah, let me show you that. Why am I doing that? All right, yeah, JamonGloverSpeaks.com/JamonGloverSpeaks.com/journal. And yep, there it is. So with the gratitude journal, you have the today I'm grateful for. You can put that down. Something that inspires me, and today's affirmations. You can put all of that right there in the journal. But yeah, that's it. JamonGloverSpeaks.com/journal. Not gonna stay there long, but that's just for the people who are really into the writing, because you can do this, however you want to do it, obviously. But I just want to give you an option and say thank you, because you guys have inspired me to really dial in on my journal a little bit more than I had been previously. And I'm really writing stuff down, and I'm getting the clarity now. So as we getting ready to go, let's go ahead and start with these gratitudes right now, and we can get right into the next 2 days lesson. right. How was that? Me not doing it, but giving you a chance to have your own gratitude moment. Do you guys like that better, or do you like it when I go ahead with it, or I'm leading? Kind of let me know which flow you like better. As I said, we're building it in the while we're flying the plane. We're actually getting it off the ground. So let me know your thoughts on that, and we'll proceed with today's beginning. So, the 13 principles of success, or 13 steps to riches, what some people actually called it. I had started noticing this thing long before I ever heard of it. I I watch a lot of sports. I'm a former athlete, soldier, so I'm around a lot of high energy, high athletic people, ego driven, alpha type personalities. Always been around them. They don't really bother me. Not always impressed by most of them, but it is what it is. There's a type. And the one thing that I've noticed in life, that you only have to be a couple steps faster than the slowest person, or 10% smarter than the people that's in the current circle that you're in, if you want to stand out. Now, if you want to dominate, that's a whole nother conversation. But most people, they flow at this regular, normal, average plane. And there's nothing wrong with the word average. It's just saying what most people's reality is. There's an average level of test takers. There's an average level of professionals. There's an average level of everything. There's an average, meaning this is where most people fall. And most people fall into the space where they do enough to survive. They do enough to not be called out. They do enough to live a comfortable life, a decent life. But if you want a little bit more, all you have to be is like 10% better. Put 10% more energy. Think 10% more. Go 10% longer. I mean, that 10% rule will separate you from most of your competition. And that's something that I learned being an athlete. Like when I watch high school sports, my children are in their high school phase. And as I'm watching them go through their high school journeys, outside of uniforms, I can see my son and somebody else's son that maybe go to another school. And on the surface, they look just the same. There's not much separation between the two kids. However, however, if my son worked 10% harder at practice, he ate 10% better, he studied his plays and his playbooks and watched film 10% longer, odds are he is now mentally separating himself. And it might be only one play in the game that he saw it on film, or he visualized it, or something happened and now he sees it. He's going to recognize that moment slightly faster than my son would, or my son would recognize it slightly faster than the other guy would, because he put 10%, just 10% more work in. And so now he gets the W, he gets the score, he gets whatever that celebration is, he gets a chance to realize it first because he did just 10% more. And that's just something that I realized going early on in my life. I just need to be better than the man next to me. I need to put in more energy, more work than the person that I'm working with. So we have an idea of now who Napoleon Hill is and what the journey was, what his mission was. And so we've been covering this, whether you have realized it or not. We've been covering this 13 principles, because the first principle is desire. And what I would like to do is I want to kind of go along with you. Well, I want you to kind of go along with me on this. So I'm going to share my screen one more time. That's not the one I wanted, or is it the one that I wanted? Oh, no, that shows everything. All right, let's bag up out of there. That's not the one I wanted. All right, let's see if we can try that again. Nope. It's just showing me me. I don't like that. Why are you doing this to me today, man? All right, well, I know how to fix it. We can do it that way. Think that'll work now, right? How about that? So the first thing, and this is an article written by, I want to give her props on it. Dr. Julie Connor, and she kind of did a breakdown of Napoleon Hill's 13 steps to success. And so let's dig into hers real quick. And so the number one thing, the number one principle is desire. He says you have to want it. Elkins explains that prosperous individuals have a strong desire for success. They dream, hope, and plan for success long before they experience it. They dream, plan, and hope for success long before they experience it. And so that's what we've really been talking about. That's what we've really been talking about. Getting the mind right, getting the mind dialed in into a place that we could see things that wasn't there, having that faith, dreaming of a bigger place, a better situation, deciding what we actually want. Because most people, they settle for what they have and they settle for comforts, but they're afraid to dream bigger. They're afraid to dream for what they truly want. And she goes on to say that wishes will not bring riches, but desiring riches with the state of mind that becomes an obsession, then planning definite ways to means to acquire riches, and backing those plans with persistence, which does not recognize failure, will bring riches. So these first couple of points is what we've been talking about for the last 2 weeks. I kind of been putting the medicine in the candy just a little bit, kind of making sure that everybody was at the same level. Because when you are trying to change your worldview or your perspective, you have to see it multiple times. You have to hear it over and over again. So it's just not something that feels good in the moment. It begins to take hold, to take root in you. And so we're going to cover a lot of this as we're going to go. So faith, we all know what faith is. I'm going to go really fast on these next couple. Faith, believe that you can achieve your goal. What's the point of having a goal if you're not believing that you can achieve it? What's the point in having a goal if you're not believing that you can achieve it? What's the point? So the first thing after you decided what you want, now you got to create this whole plan, the whole step we did yesterday about knowing what you want, understanding your why, and then getting the how and then the when down. Once you do that, now it's time to go. It's time to make the plan now. And unfortunately, this is when most people start to flick out a little bit, because some people, they're not ready yet to really put the work in. They have to marinate on it a little while. They have to understand it and conceptualize it and go do this deep dive in this research. And in the meantime, life is still happening all around them. So sometimes they never get back. So this is why it has to be a definite major purpose, a definite desire. It's something that you don't sleep well if you can't accomplish it. And when it burns that bright for you, when it burns that hot for you, it's easier to find faith. And we talked about faith and belief being, they go together. And how do you create belief? How do you create that faith? Auto-suggestion. And that's what the next number 3 talks about. That is those affirmations. Those that getting out those cards, pulling out your gratitude journals, writing down those things that mean the most to you, the things that you want to see happen, the thing that you are declaring. And when you start doing it, it creates a whole new level of feeling, a whole new level of faith inside of you and belief inside of you. And this is the next point that I'm going to make. It's not even on there, so I'm going to come off the screen real quick to make this point. Many times, the moment we decide to have faith in something, I think Gary brought it up early last week. fear jumps in and it jumps on your back and it beats you in the head until you stop doing whatever you're doing. Fear, sometimes our own brain is the one that's trying to keep us safe and comfortable and protected so we don't act on the things that we know we should or desire to. So let's do a quick breakdown of what fear is. We know the acronym false evidence appearing real. But fear is a bully and is insidious, but it's it's like the Wizard of Oz. It's the guy behind the curtain that's making all these things happen with the scary voice, and that's what fear is. You know why? Think about it. What were you afraid of as a child? Some people were afraid to jump in the deep end of the pool. And what changed that? Anybody? You learn how to swim. You learn how to swim. Fear of the unknown. That's all it is. Fear of the unknown. But you can defeat that by getting either the experience or the information to make you more familiar with it. Once you have the experience and the information, it's no longer unknown. Now, there's another type of fear. If you agree, let me know. If you're feeling what that point I just made, if you have experience with that point that I just made, let me know. Put it in the chat. Let me know what you thought, what you're thinking. That's what fear is. That's what fear of the unknown is. But there's also another type of fear. There's the fear of danger. Now, as humans, we have the ability to do a lot of different things, but one of them is not settle. If there's a dangerous animal behind your house, if there is something happening on the corner of your complex or your subdivision, if there is something going on that makes you feel unease because it could be dangerous, well, you can handle it yourself, because depending on what your why is, if there's a dangerous animal out behind your house, you call animal control. You can actually get rid of the situation by making one phone call. And if need be, you can go outside and deal with it yourself. So fear of actual danger, you can either deal with it through deliberate action, either addressing the issue, depending on what the issue is, or getting help with the issue. And once you start to understand those things, that now you understand that fear is just, it's a bully, but it has no real power other than what you give it. Fear only limits you to the degree you will allow it to limit you. And that's what the book Think and Grow Rich was truly trying to tell you. When you think, you create plans and you can assure outcomes when you think. When you react, you do the exact opposite. Your emotions kick in and you try to make things happen through force or manipulation. That never gets you too far. Never gets you far enough, at least to where you want to go. When you're talking about changing your family's legacy, your family's history, you have to do it through deliberate action and thought. You can only finesse for so long before it catches up with you. You can only bully for so long before it catches up with you. You have to be strategic. And these 13 principles that we're going to start talking about, or we're talking about, is the key. Napoleon Hill sat down with at least 500 of the world's wealthiest people, talked to them, interviewed them, got their stories, and over the next 20, 30 years, he put all those stories, all those key points, all those takeaways, those similarities, he took them, boiled them down into one manuscript that has arguably changed or created more millionaires than, heck, the stock market. because most of the people in the stock market have read that book. There are very few people that I've run into these days that haven't read Think and Grow Rich. There's also Dennis Kimbro wrote another one called Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice. I've read that one as well. Both are great books. But what I'm trying to get across today is these 13 steps, or these 13 steps to riches, or 13 principles of success, they are the key to getting you where you want to be in life. And in saying that, let's get back to it, because I definitely cannot be on it all day today. There's just too much happening. But let's go back to where we are. Let's pick up at number 4. Let's go with specialized knowledge. We talked about auto-suggestion. Auto-suggestion being those affirmations. Matter of fact, before we go too deep, the success you want transforms into your reality when your subconscious mind with positive phrases and mantras that reflect your goals. You have to repeat out loud what it is that you want and how you plan to get it so you can become obsessed with your purpose. So you can become obsessed with your purpose. You are auto-programming, auto-tuning your mind by deliberately planting that seed of what you want to become, declaring the thing that you are. So when I say I am a 6-time best-selling author, or I am the number 1 speaker in the world, or I do have the number 1 coaching and consulting company for men and family success, I mean that. Now, is it my present reality? No, but I already see it in my mind. I already know where I want to go, how I want to get it. That's auto-programming. That now I don't have to stumble or stutter trying to think of how it is. It just flows because I've said it so many times. And even when I'm teaching and I'm trying not to go there just yet, it still comes out. Because I've already seen it here, so I know it's going to happen. So now I have to put the plan in place to make sure it happens. Success doesn't happen by accident, ladies and gentlemen. I know I've said it 1,000 times, but success does not happen by accident. It is very much deliberate. It's intentional. All right. So specialized knowledge. Gain experiences and continue learning. Elkins agreed that knowledge is power, but only when individuals apply what they learn to solve problems in their daily lives. Hill believes successful men and women are committed to lifelong learning. This is particularly important in this technological era where new information constantly changes. There are all kinds of social media, new apps, new platforms in the business sector. Let me tell you what somebody did. Let me come off. I got an email from a guy, and I appreciate his hustle. I respect his hustle because it's something that I would have done. But somebody took one of my videos that was done here. They took one of my videos and they chopped it up and then emailed me asking me to do 3 articles, 3 separate videos. They wouldn't charge me a thing. Now, on the surface, I'm just like, yo, somebody thought enough of my video to do that. That's dope. I'm really making traction. But then a friend of mine sent me some information, and I found out that what this guy used was an AI tool. And the AI tool did all the work. He just took it, dropped it into the platform, and the platform did it. But he's calling YouTube channels saying, hey, I'll do this first run for you for free. It may cost him the software, which is, I think, $30 bucks a month. But what if he called, remember the plan we talked about yesterday? What if he called 10 YouTubers a day? And he got 2 clients out of the 10 to do that AI video thing for him. And let's say he's charging, what do you pay an editor? As an editor, I know what I will charge. But for my YouTube video, maybe I'm not talking to a client. So maybe he's only charging maybe $100 bucks. But he got 2. And he's doing on a retainer $100 bucks a week. Or he'll do 10 videos a month for $50 a video. That's $500 bucks a month. But he picked up 30 clients. You know how much money that is? It's so many ways to make bread. Okay, Health Talk says, I can personally attest to the validity of the desire statement in Think and Grow Rich. I wrote my desire statement a year ago, and several things in my statement have happened. Must read it every day. There you go. You must read that statement every day. Every day. Multiple times throughout the day. Multiple times. And it's crazy that we don't understand all the time. And we think it's repetitive, it's stupid. Like when we first started doing the gratitudes and the affirmations, I felt stupid doing it because I had never done it in front of people before. But I know I've gotten the results from doing it. I know that it matters. And if I am going to be a a coach that has good impact and gets results, I got to start doing the things that I feel maybe a little uncomfortable doing, because guess what? That's fear. And I took deliberate action and I got through that wall. I got through that wall. But yeah, so man, that guy, he was he was not gaming the system. He took technology that I may not have known, but because I'm in the industry, I have friends that share stuff with me all the time. And just so happened on the same, matter of fact, my friend shared it with me the day before I got this guy's email. So I knew exactly what he was doing because I got the same 3 clips, the exact same 3 clips. And what are the odds? Out of 15 videos, he chose the same one that I chose and gave me the exact same thing. So I knew what he was doing. However, there are some guys who knew and not in the business, and he's going to make that bread. But there's opportunities. That's basically what the point is. There is opportunity if you are looking, if you are intent, if you gain the specialized knowledge to be successful in the environment that you're currently operating in. All right. Let's go to number 5. And number 5 is the imagination for specialized knowledge. The imagination. Be open to new ideas and visualize your success. Now, visualization allows you to imagine a desired outcome or what you want to see manifest in your life. This practice allows you to see yourself experiencing success through the power of imagination. Visualization is a mental rehearsal of success. I want to say that again. This is a major key right here. Visualization is a mental rehearsal of success. A mental rehearsal of success. It is a technique or performance improvement. Let me read it again. It is a technique of performance improvement consistently supported by scientific evidence and used by many successful people across professions. Remember how we talked about with the Oprah clip? Oprah said you have to rise and vibrate to meet the thing that you want, the hope, dream, desire. You have to rise to it. You have to vibrate at the same frequency that it is on. And so visualization puts you there. Michael Phelps talked about it. His whole game, it's right between the ears. Because going back to the 10% rule, the truth is this. Talking about that sports analogy, if you think about track or think about swimming with Michael Phelps, it's a 1/10 of a second between first place and second place. It's 4/10 of a second between first place and last place. If you are a runner and you run a 4-second 40, that sounds fast. But when you get into the weeds, my fastest 40 time I think I ever run was a 4.5. That's a 4-second 40. That's fast. However, the fastest guy on our team ran a 4.3. It don't seem like it's that much difference, but trust me, it is worlds apart. And visually, you can see it. I'm quicker in space, but he had a stride that was better than mine. He could overtake me after about 30 yards. The last 10 yards, I'm holding on for dear life, and he cruising. It matters. Being just a little bit better matters, and it starts with thinking. Sometimes it's not your athletic ability that gets you there. It's the performance of that skill or that task. But it starts with the imagination. And sometimes seeing it in your head over and over again. You know how to come out of the starting blocks. You know how to swing your arms. You know the breath work that you need to have. You know that your head stays down and you don't look up until you don't hit 20 yards. I mean, it's the small technical pieces that you can do in visualization sitting in your car at the stoplight, laying on the couch watching TV. You don't have to be physically doing the work, but you're still doing the work, and that makes you 10% better. Just 10%. All right, let's get back in. So that was imagination. Number 6, organized planning, meaning take action. That's where we are today. We're starting with the take action. We've worked for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks now, to get in the proper mindset to now so we can start taking action. So we can go from where we are to where we want to be, making the rest of our lives the best of our lives. So what does it say? The process of visualization allows you to imagine the success you want to experience, but you will not experience it until you relentlessly do the work to transform what you want into reality. I think that bears reading one more time. The process of visualization allows you to imagine the success you want to experience, but you will not experience it until you relentlessly do the work to transform what you want into reality. We're going to get off of that one right now. Faith without works is dead. And there are so many times where we actually create these plans. We have these thoughts, we have these ideas. And sometimes we just have the idea because it feels good to think about it. Sometimes we'll create those vision walls and those vision boards because it makes us feel good to look at it. But what we're not telling anybody is that we have this little fear that I want it so bad that I'm never going to get it. And when you feel that way, you're not making a plan. You're not doing affirmations. You are spiraling in hope covered as fear, or as fear covered in hope. I don't want that for you. I know you don't want that either. So how do you conquer fear? How do you get past the anxiety and the depressed days? How do you make inroads into places that you've constantly failed at and felt like giving up on? How can you change your situation in your life for the life that you want? How can you trade this old life in for the life that you actually want? That is why we're talking about the things that we're talking about. That is why we are stressing the importance of affirmations. That is why we are stressing the fact of community, repetition, getting this information in your head over and over again, speaking your affirmations, your goals and dreams every day, because you have to reprogram this thing called the mind. You have to. You have to. But remember, I said it's 4 steps to the evolution. First, it's the mental shift. It's the paradigm change. It's the worldview, the perception change. Then you go into that dreamy world where you're speaking positive. But it's not until you get to that third phase, which is the application, that your life really starts to make a difference. You start seeing results. You start getting quantifiable results. Then that 4th stage, you're going to be doing the same thing that I'm doing. Teaching somebody, bringing them along, helping them get from a dead or broken place into a healthy, vibrant, living environment. But that's the journey of personal development. And it is a lot of repetition. So if you get tired of hearing the same message over and over again, ask yourself, am I tired of it because I've already applied it and I'm getting the results? Or am I tired of it because it makes me feel away because I'm ready for the next thing because I haven't done that yet? So I want to see what else is out there. There's maybe 1 or 2 other options, not many more. Either you've outgrown it or it frustrates you. And it only frustrates you because you haven't done anything with it. And I just say that because growing up with parents, man, your parents will say the same message over and over again. Over and over again. How many times do I gotta keep telling you? I'm like, I don't know how many. Until you get it right. Then what happens? Eventually we get it right. We just, you know what, I'll stop. I'm tired of hearing your mouth. I'm gonna do it. And then we do it. And it's like, dang, I can't tell Pops this. I can't tell Ma this, but it actually worked. So now we start telling other people. We become disciples because we love as people to help people get a little further in life. We like to be the catalyst for people's growth. I don't know. I think it's a human nature thing. We want to feel like the work that we do, it matters. And when we find something that works, we talk about it. So that's what I'm doing. And so we're going to pick up tomorrow with number 7, I believe. Yes. And so after you make the decision, what are you going into? So like I say, we'll do that and close out. Let's go ahead and get into these affirmations, ladies and gentlemen. And this time I'm going to be quiet as well. And I want you to affirm who you are, what you want. And this is in your car, in your house, but affirm it. Start building that muscle of declaring what you want, declaring who you are. It's what's going to be the thing that gets you from just kind of believing and hoping to actually believing and imprinted on your mind. So I think we are ready for the affirmations. Yes, we are. Sorry about that. How was that? Are you guys okay? Are you guys enjoying the time to kind of meditate on your own things that you're grateful for, the things that you are affirming and declaring? I hope that you are, because that's the way it should be. Now we can do some group stuff, down the road, but I wanted to kind of start the flow and lead by example of what it was like to do gratitude and to do affirmations, and kind of give you a flow of things that I declare and that I'm grateful for. Sometimes if you've never done a thing, you need to kind of see it walked out. So I want to make sure that I'm able to give that to people that need it. And, oh, speaking of journal, you already know I just showed you my gratitude journal that I put together for you guys. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh man, I don't know what I do with it. But anyway, go to JamonGlover.com / where is it? I'm tripping. Or was it on another tab somewhere? You know, I got like 28 tabs open on my computer. That's like my wife's biggest thing for me. Baby, you have 6 different pages open, and each page got 20 tabs open. That's what I do. I don't know why I do it that way, but I do. So if you are, boom, let's do this, and you go to JamonGloverSpeaks.com / journal is there, and the journal pops up. This is the page. Oh, you know what? Let me do that. Let's take me off screen so you can actually see the page. This is this gratitude journal that I put together. It's just some PDF pages. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. I just want you guys to have something for the people who actually like to hold the paper in their hand and write. This is what this is for. If you are doing something on your phone, you know, hey, it's all good. No worries. This is just for the people are like me, who like to write things out and see it. I just want to give you that option to have that. So, without further ado, I am definitely in the place right now where I feel like we are getting to a level that everybody is relating to the information. Also, I feel like the tech challenges are being minimized. We're getting things a little bit more in order. The ship is flying a little smoother these days. So thank you guys once again for all of your help, all of your participation, for just rocking with your boy, learning, growing. But keep in mind, there will be a time, and it's coming really soon. So yeah, I know that might have been a little hot, so let's turn it down a little bit. So keep in mind that going forward, I want to hear some of your declarations, some of your affirmations. I want to know I want to feel the energy off of it. Because, you know, the good book says that where 2 or 3 are gathered together, he is in the midst, right? And all this stuff is what he talked about. Talked about greater work shall you do. Let this mind be in you, right? I mean, all these things, it's personal development. It's personal development. That's what it is. Having the mind of Christ, having the God thoughts. It's all personal development, because God even said, Moses said when talking to Pharaoh, God, when he asked me who sent me, who should I say sent me? He said, tell him I am. Tell him I am sent you. And so we are supposed to be declaring some things. So I want you to start doing that. I want you to get more comfortable in doing that, because it matters. I'm not here just because I have nothing better to do. I'm not telling you something that I think works. I know it works. I've done it so many times. I've transformed my life in so many ways. I'm a different person, but I'm still the same me. Just a much better version. And I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of the journey and where I've come from. So yeah, shout out Health Talk. Yes, sir. Never can have too many gratitude moments. Say it again, my guy. That's it. Appreciate you. Shout out to you, Gary. Shout out to you, my guy. You know, Gary's a fan of Bob Proctor as well. And Gary understands Bob Proctor was really that guy. He really was. That chick, yo, really appreciate you, ma. Craig G. Keep it in the road, my guy. Much love, much respect. May not go live tomorrow, but there will be a video up continuing this. I think I'm going to do a live, though. I think I'm going to try to figure it out, and it's going to air live at the same time. So you guys stay tuned. It's definitely going to happen. Y'all be blessed. We'll catch you tomorrow or live next week.